Now, as the crisis continues to unfold in Afghanistan following the Taliban takeover, the External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar is going to be briefing all opposition parties on Afghanistan in an all-party meeting. The agenda of the meeting will be to apprise the opposition parties on all the developments in war-torn Afghanistan and also on India's evacuation efforts. This meeting is expected to begin at 11 this morning. Apart from this, the Home Ministry is also likely to conduct an important security review meet on the developments in Afghanistan. Heads of all security agencies will be in attendance for this meeting. Let's also focus on what's happening in Afghanistan. You've got modern assault vehicle rifles, you've got machine guns, snipers, all of that in possession of the Taliban. All of these weapons that were used to defeat them decades ago is now with them. India today has accessed exclusive details of Taliban's weapon harvest that will benefit Pakistan-based terrorist groups. The American weapons are being supplied directly to the Pakistan army and terror groups waiting to strike us, waiting to strike India.
5 lakh M16 assault rifles. 5 lakh M4 battlefield carbines. Thousands of US light machine guns. Just part of a huge haul of US weapons now in Taliban hands, and which top Indian defense officials believe will eventually impact Indian security. According to a detailed Indian intelligence assessment, American weapons captured by the Taliban from the Afghan army are likely to create havoc in Pakistan first before they are attempted to be smuggled into India. The Pakistan army and the terrorist groups supported by it now stand to receive a steady supply of these advanced modern American weapons directly from the Taliban. In other words, the Taliban's takeover is good news for Pak-sponsored terror directly pointed at India. It is most likely that the weapons will first be used for violence within Pakistan itself before they reach India, top sources tell India Today. Apart from enormous stocks of M16 and M4 rifles and light machine guns, the haul also includes a huge number of sniper rifles along with steel core bullets, bulletproof jackets and armor-piercing rounds. But it isn't just American firearms that are likely to flow into Pakistani hands. Inputs suggest that Pakistan will also likely get some of the over 2,000 US armored vehicles, including Humvees, in Taliban hands. Probably most significantly though, Pakistan and its terror groups could also get access to 40 aircraft, including UH-60 Black Hawks, MD-530 light armed scout helicopters, and even possibly Scan Eagle surveillance drones. To summarize, American assault rifles, battle carbines, sniper rifles, light machine guns, Humvees, helicopters and drones in the possession of the Taliban will almost definitely fall into Pakistani hands and used against India, either directly or through terror groups. Each of these weapons is far superior to anything Pakistan or its terror groups currently uses. While it's true that bigger military equipment like Humvees and choppers are likely to be traced if used by Taliban or the Pakistan army, smaller firearms can be easily used outside Afghanistan. Sources in the Indian army say security forces in the Kashmir Valley are fully prepared to tackle any influx of these weapons.
The counter-infiltration and counter-terrorist grid is very robust and would be able to tackle any such approach by the Pakistan army or the terrorists backed by it. Sources said that if the Pakistan army tries to cushion the Afghan Taliban into the Indian areas, they would be dealt in the same way they were dealt with in the 90s.
If you've been wondering about the fallout of the world's biggest crisis on India, this is the spearhead and what our soldiers will eventually face. With Manjeet Singh Negi in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, as woes for Afghanistan continue to increase under Taliban Raj, the United Nations Human Rights Commission has raised a serious alarm. The UNHRC chief has said that she received credible reports of serious violations being committed by the Taliban in Afghanistan. Michelle Bachelet has said that she has proof of Taliban atrocities that include summary of executions of civilians and Afghan security forces who surrendered. Michelle Bachelet also gave no details of the killings in a speech to the Human Rights Council, but urged the Geneva Forum to closely monitor the terror organization's actions in Afghanistan. The UNHRC chief also added that the Taliban treatment of women and of girls would be a fundamental red line.
In particular, we have also received credible reports of serious violation of international humanitarian law and human rights abuses taking place in many areas under effective Taliban control. They include, among others, summary executions of civilians and all the combat members of the Afghan National Security Forces. I urge this Council to take bold and vigorous action, commensurate with the gravity of this crisis, by establishing a dedicated mechanism to closely monitor the evolving human rights situation in Afghanistan, including in particular the Taliban's implementation of its promises with a focus on prevention.
The festive week of Onam has led to a sharp spike in COVID cases in Kerala. Over 31,000 fresh infections have been reported in a single day, and that's the biggest upsurge in over 3 months in the state. Kerala is now contributing to over 64% of India's new cases. There's a lot of politics that's playing out over this, with the BJP blaming the Vijayan government for this case explosion in the state.
Kerala is staring at a COVID emergency. A scary surge in recent days has been contributing to over 50% of India's COVID infections. On Wednesday, Kerala broke its own record after it reported over 31,000 fresh cases in just a single day. This was the highest single-day spike in the last 3 months. That's not the only scary part. COVID positivity ratio in the state also inched closer to the 20% mark. In the last 7 days, India's positivity rate has been hovering around 1.8%, while Kerala saw a positivity rate of 16.6%. The BJP has blamed the Pinarayi Vijayan government for the surge.
Kerala government has been selective in allowing congregations for Bakrid and enforcing some sort of lockdown as far as other festivals are concerned. The kind of cases that are coming from Kerala point out to the overall mismanagement, skewed priorities, not enforcing the protocols adequately. And Kerala government must be questioned on it, because India is suffering because of how Pinarayi Vijayan's government is handling COVID at the moment.
The Kerala government has rejected the charges.
In many states run by the BJP, when the government is bent to hide the actual number and minimize the tests, the government of Kerala is duty bound and keen to see that maximum number of people are tested, and the reporting should be 100% perfect. That is the Kerala model.
Data shows on July 21st, following the Bakrid festivities, within a week, cases rose sharply. Similarly, in August, soon after the relaxation for Onam, the state once again saw a significant rise in its COVID tally. Once hailed for its containment efforts, the Kerala model is now facing intense scrutiny. With Gopi Krishnan Unnithan in Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, India Today.
And in Karnataka, there's a Ganesh Utsav face-off that's erupted. BJP leaders are openly daring their own government, demanding a relaxation for Ganesh Utsav despite a ban on religious gatherings and warnings by experts. All eyes now are on Chief Minister Bommai to see whether he really bows down to the pressure from his own party.
Politics erupts over COVID in Karnataka. After the state government imposed ban on religious gatherings on Ganesh Chaturthi due to the pandemic, BJP leaders have joined the chorus for allowing Ganesh Utsav.
ಮಸೀದಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಮೂಹಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಮಾಜ್ ನಡೀತಿದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಚರ್ಚ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಡೇ ಮಾಸ್ ನಡೀತಿದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಗಣೇಶೋತ್ಸವಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಯಮಾವಳಿಗಳನ್ನು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಜಾರಿಗೊಳಿಸಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ.
A few days ago, BJP MLA Bastanagowda Yatnal had vowed to defy any COVID norms if imposed on Ganesh Chaturthi.
ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಸಿಎಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳೀನಿ ಇವತ್ತು ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಎಂಥವೆಲ್ಲ ಗೋಳ ಕಾಯ್ದೆ ಹಚ್ಚದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಕೇಳೋದಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್ ಪಿ ಅವ್ರು ಅದಾರ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡಿ ಸಿ ಅದಾರ. ಗಣಪತಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ ಹಿಂದೂ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮ್ಯಾಗ ಹಿಂದೂ ಹಬ್ಬದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ ಹಿಂದೂ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನ ಮ್ಯಾಗ ಏನಾರ ಬರೀ ಕಾನೂನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಬಿಜಾಪುರನಾಗ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗುಂಡು ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದು ಭಾಳ ಅದಾರ ನನಗೆ.
The BJP leader's belligerence flies in the face of expert advice. Renowned cardiologist and member of Karnataka COVID panel, Dr. Devi Shetty, has called for restraint in religious gatherings.
I don't think any of the politicians have asked the people to break the code of COVID-19 prevention. I don't think so. And even if somebody has felt it, they didn't mean it. We have to follow the COVID norms at least for another 2 years.
With the BJP leaders openly daring their own government over COVID norms, the spotlight is firmly on the new Chief Minister. Will Basavaraj Bommai bow to pressure from his party colleagues? With Nagarjun Dwarkanath, Bureau Report, India Today.
The Enforcement Directorate has summoned top Tollywood stars Rakulpreet Singh, Rana Daggubati and Ravi Teja in a 2017 high-profile drug scandal. The agency has also summoned actor Mumaid Khan, Chami Kaur and director Puri Jagannath. As per agency sources, the stars have been summoned as witnesses in a case linked to raids conducted at prominent bars in the year 2017. The ED is probing money laundering charge based on a case that was filed by the Excise and Prohibition Department in July 2017. The SIT of the Hyderabad Excise and Prohibition Department launched an investigation against Tollywood celebrities and others. The SIT hasn't filed a charge sheet against any celebrity, and it hasn't yet not been disclosed if any celebrity was part of drug trafficking or of consumption. A massive controversy has erupted over anti-Kalyan Singh posters that have surfaced at the Aligarh Muslim University. The poster slams the Vice-Chancellor for paying tribute to the former Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister who passed away on Saturday. The ruling BJP, for obvious reasons, isn't amused. They've called the poster a reflection of Taliban mindset.
BJP's OBC face. The serving UP Chief Minister during the Babri demolition. Seen as a staunch Hindutva figure. The one paving the path for Ram Temple in Ayodhya. In death, Kalyan Singh remains an enduring icon for BJP, especially ahead of the next year's UP Assembly polls.
चाहे सरकार में उनका स्थान हो, चाहे गवर्नर की जिम्मेवारी हो, हमेशा हर एक के लिए प्रेरणा का केंद्र बने. देश ने एक मूल्यवान शख्सियत, एक सामर्थ्यवान नेता खोया है.
But controversy over the late leader has erupted at the Aligarh Muslim University due to this mystery poster which wraps the varsity's vice-chancellor for his tribute to the departed OBC leader, saying prayers for a criminal is a crime that can't be pardoned. Even calling Kalyan Singh the main culprit of Babri demolition and a leader of what it said, the fascist BJP. It also claimed that VC Professor Tariq Mansoor's condolence of Kalyan's death has hurt the sentiments of Muslims. While several AMU students say they agree with the poster, the university administration promised a probe.
मेरी नज़र में बिल्कुल सही है, हमें कोई गम का इजहार हमने तो नहीं किया गम का इजहार, वाइस चांसलर साहब कर रहे हैं। एक वाइस चांसलर हैं यूनिवर्सिटी के, अलीग फ्रेटर्निटी के कायद हैं। तमाम मिल्लत इस्लामिया के ऊपर इस बात का ठेस पहुंची है कि उन्होंने गम का इजहार उनकी इंतकाल पर किया है।
The Yogi government, which had pulled out all stops to honor the departed leader, is clearly not amused. Its Muslim face is slamming the anti-Kalyan poster as a symbol of Taliban mindset, hate and intolerance.
अगर वहां के वीसी ने भी शोक संवेदना दी तो ये बहुत अच्छी बात है। यही तो हमारे देश के संस्कार है, यही संस्कृति है हमारी। लेकिन अगर वहां की यूनिवर्सिटी में कुछ तालिबानी सोच के लोग आ गए हैं तो उनका इलाज भी कर देंगे हम।
जो किया है वो गलत है, उसकी घोर निंदा होनी चाहिए। पोस्टर लगाने थे तो तालिबान में जो महिलाओं के साथ हो रहा है, तालिबान के में जो बच्चों के साथ हो रहा है, उनके खिलाफ क्यों नहीं पोस्टर लगाते? दिखता कि आपके अंदर कुछ जागा है।
Kalyan, a Lord leader, had helped the BJP breach the Hindi heartland in the 90s. While many blame him for the Babri demolition, any taint on his legacy is sure to heat up the UP political scene. With Samaj Srivastav in Lucknow, Bureau Report, India Today.
The first day of the Headingley test was a day to forget for India. India opted to bat after winning the toss, but England were on top form with the word go. Jimmy Anderson was the destroyer-in-chief as India lost KL Rahul and Pujara inside the first 5 overs. Captain Kohli was the next to go, edging behind a James Anderson delivery yet again. Rohit Rahane then got together for a short partnership, but Rahane's wicket right at the stroke of lunch pushed India further back. India were 56 for 4 at lunch, and the next 6 wickets could only add 22 runs as the visitors folded for a paltry 78, their third lowest total in tests in England. To make matters worse, England openers, who had struggled to even put on a 50-run stand in the first 2 tests, put together their first 100-run partnership after 24 innings. The visitors entered the day without a wicket, and with England already leading by 42 runs, India faced an uphill task of making a game really out of this test.
I think it was off the pad.